Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, the full version is available on Patreon. I'll be uploading all my content there going forward.
Chapter 1. Your frog cub is going on a trip. Frog cub will send back travel albums from time to time, please check it carefully. The return of the frog cubs will bring back corresponding world gifts and special commemorative gifts. Please remember to check them, host. Qin Hao was lying on the bed, listening to the reminder in his head, and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Finally, I'm going on a trip. Take a deep breath. He turned around and looked around in the dark surroundings. This is a single room of less than 12 square meters. All kinds of high-tech equipment in the room are flashing with the words "Please insert coins." The house has no windows, just 4 cold metal walls. The only one who seems to have no sense of distance from the outside world. It's the vent in the wall. Even late at night, you can still vaguely hear the noise of music and entertainment every night outside. But none of this has anything to do with the inside of the house. There are some in narrow rooms. It's just a feeling of depression and suffocation coming from death. At this place, Qin Hao has been staying here for a month. Turned out to be. A month ago, Qin Hao, who was a fan of the second dimension of Dragon Kingdom, was inexplicably transported to this world while playing a game. After some inspection, he found that he was in a world set in a game called Cyberpunk 2077. And the location I am currently in is Sin City, Night City. There are rampaging cyber lunatics everywhere. Punk fringe people who burned, killed, and looted. A desperate city where the bottom class is like ants and capital dominates and money comes first. As a native without any prosthetic implants, Qin Hao was immediately dumbfounded. The otaku in the previous life. In this cyberpunk world, isn't it possible to get your head shot every minute? But fortunately, when teleported to Night City, Qin Hao's own golden finger has also awakened. It was nothing else, it was actually a development game he had played called Traveling Frog. After a brief inspection, he found that his system was basically the same as the game Traveling Frog. The game starts with a little frog cub, and the host prepares lunch, props, amulets, and other things for the frog cub. After everything is ready, the little frog cub can go out for a trip. The frog cubs will send back albums from time to time during their travels and will bring back gifts when they return. Sincerely. It is indeed a nice little game to pass the time. But it's completely irrelevant to cyberpunk. I came to this world to survive, not to maintain health. This was Qin Hao's first thought after taking a rough look at the system. But after he looked at the system more carefully, he discovered several special features of the system. The first point is that the place where the frog cub travels has become various two-dimensional worlds. In other words, the gifts brought back by the frog cubs after traveling will also be products of various dimensional worlds. The second point is that these gifts brought back can be used by the host. Combining the 2 points, in an instant, Qin Hao saw hope from despair. If the frog cub directly went to the world of cultivating immortals and brought back some elixir, then why don't you ascend on the spot? Is there any need to live an ignoble existence at the bottom of this cyberpunk world? But there is a third point. The frog cubs need to pay a fee for each trip. The cost keeps increasing as the number of trips increases. For the frog cub's first trip, the host needs to pay 2,000 euros. 2,000 euros. For a native human like Qin Hao who is powerless. Definitely a big deal. It is this third rule. Let Qin Hao let the frog cubs travel for the first time tonight. Within 1 month, Qin Hao works part-time during the day and part-time at a bar at night. After accidentally encountering a gang fight, he plucked up the courage to steal several prosthetic bodies from the dead and resell them. Only then did the frog cub's travel expenses barely come together. Ding ding. At this time, the mobile phone sounded a notification that a message had been received. Since Qin Hao is a native, he does not have a communicator in his body. So the mobile phone is still an external smartphone. Qin Hao woke up from his memories and picked it up to take a look. Arazaka Bank reminder, 2,000 euros were debited from your electronic account at midnight, leaving a balance of 10.2 euros. Please pay attention to the lower limit of the deposit limit to avoid termination of the electronic account service. The world needs money everywhere, and even banks won't serve you if you don't have enough balance. Hey, it's really a world that eats people but doesn't spit out their bones. Qin Hao couldn't help but complain. Scroll down the phone and there is an unread text message. Boy, go to the bar early tomorrow night to work. There is a party to be held and there are not enough people. The note in the text message is bartender at Afterlife Bar, Greer. Qin Hao casually replied, okay. He threw his phone aside. He hugged the pillow and lay down comfortably on his back with his legs crossed. Which world will Frog Cub travel to for the first time? I hope it will be a world with higher force value and more advanced technology. Qin Hao seemed to be staring at the ceiling, but in fact he was looking at the game interface that only he could see, and murmured to himself, it is really difficult for a native like me to survive in this world. Saying. He couldn't help but raise his palm and look at it. A little pale. But you can clearly see the regular beating of blood vessels on the back of your hand. I couldn't help but smile bitterly and said, if the Frog Cub can't bring back something useful, then I may really have to spend money to install a prosthetic body. Unlike those who enjoy installing mechanical prosthetics. Qin Hao still thinks that the original ones are the best. The body, hair, and skin are all affected by your parents, how can you just say that you should transform them? Chapter 2. Why are you back so soon? You didn't bring anything good, did you? A trip costs 2,000 euros. Don't let me down, kid. For a time, countless thoughts flashed through Qin Hao's mind. In the quiet rental house, he could even hear his own heartbeat. With both hope and fear. After taking a deep breath, then he carefully clicked on the game interface in his mind. What catches the eye? It is the familiar interface of traveling frog. The frog cub who returned from the trip was reading a book at his desk. At the same time, Qin Hao noticed that there was an exclamation mark in the travel specialty products section of the game interface. Click it and take a look. In the originally empty special products grid, there was an icon similar to a fruit. This is... Qin Hao's heart skipped a beat. Concentrate your awareness immediately to see the details. Magnetic fruit, a specialty product of the world of One Piece, is a superhuman devil fruit. After eating it, you can control magnetism, electrical control, iron, and other metal objects. Can create a magnetic field to magnetize metal objects. P.S. The fruit will awaken according to the strength of the eater, and the specific abilities need to be developed. Note, some of the drawbacks of the fruit have been eliminated by the system. Sure enough. It is indeed Eustace Kid's magnetic fruit. Almost immediately, Qin Hao jumped up from the bed with excitement. As a senior 2D enthusiast, he knows very well about One Piece. Eustace Kid. The captain of the Kid Pirates, together with Luffy and Luo, are the three supernovas. All devil fruit abilities are exactly the Magneto fruit. It was almost the first time Qin Hao saw the magnetic fruit icon. The scene flashed in his mind of the kid fruit awakening and manipulating a pile of scrap metal to form a precise and domineering magnetic demon. Magnetic fruit. Match the current cyberpunk world. Isn't that even more powerful? The rhythm of taking off on the spot. Does the host extract the specialty magnetic fruit? A system prompt pops up. Yes. Qin Hao didn't hesitate at all. The next moment. Just like Cyber Projection 3D. A magnetic fruit comes from scratch and is generated immediately. Qin Hao felt his hand sink, and the devil fruit gained mass at the same time. Is this the real devil fruit? He looked at the magnetic fruit in his hand, which was covered with grey spiral thunder marked spikes, and its entire body was wrapped by a yellow vine like a magnetic line. Qin Hao felt that everything in front of him until this moment. It happened like a dream. For a moment, even his breathing became heavier. Qin Hao understands. What he holds in his hands is not just a devil fruit, but his future. Money. Right. Even the most basic human dignity. Perhaps. It all starts with this devil fruit. Don't tell me that devil fruits are said to taste as bad as shit. Even if what you have in your hands is really shit. Qin Hao must eat too. Alive. More important than anything else. Take a deep breath. Qin Hao took a bite. After chewing a few times, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Hey! It's quite delicious. Could it be that the system has eliminated disadvantages? Want to understand the whole story? Qin Hao couldn't help but shook his head slightly. It was so bad that just now he did some mental preparation of eating shit before eating. All in vain. He kept talking, and the fruit was eaten cleanly. Belch. With a full belch. Qin Hao felt that he didn't need to eat breakfast as this devil fruit was quite filling. Next moment, a tingling sensation similar to electricity instantly hit Qin Hao's whole body, and the feeling became stronger and stronger. Qin Hao knew that this was the effect of the magnetic fruit. Magnetism generates electricity. Now his body is like a huge magnetic field. Not only that, he only felt that his vision, hearing, touch, and other senses were all visibly enhanced. The essence of matter is energy, and magnetic field is a kind of energy. As the master of the magnetic field, Qin Hao can change the positive and negative poles of the magnetic field at will, the speed of charge movement in the magnetic field, and even impart magnetism to other metals. The heart moves with thoughts. The next moment, Qin Hao's body was suspended on the bed as if it was weightless. It's like magnetic levitation. If I could perfectly control my own magnetism, wouldn't I be able to fly directly? Qin Hao thought in his heart. But before he could be happy for too long, he felt a sense of weakness in his body. Boom! With a muffled sound, Qin Hao fell back on the bed. It was obvious that he had just eaten the devil fruit and was not yet very proficient in controlling the fruit's abilities. And using devil fruit abilities is really draining on your stamina. Goo 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 goo. My stomach, which was still a little full just now, started to growl. It seems that energy is conserved in some aspects. Qin Hao shook his head with a bitter smile, and complained, haha, the system prompts really need to be analyzed word for word. Sure enough, it has only eliminated part of the disadvantages. But energy consumption is not an issue at all. After all, now I basically have the ability to protect myself. As long as you continue to strengthen your physical strength and your proficiency in using magnetism, you will definitely become invincible. If you can develop the Mangekyō fruit to its limit, you might be able to indirectly possess the power of other devil fruits. While thinking about it, Qin Hao excitedly brought a notebook and pen. He made some imaginary plans for the awakening of Magneto's ability. The speed of electromagnetic force is the speed of light, so the theoretical limit of ability users can also reach the speed of light, similar to the sparkling fruit. Using electromagnetic fields to distort the visible light around you can achieve the purpose of invisibility, similar to transparent fruits. Electromagnetic force creates a force field that isolates all matter and energy, so it can be immune to all physical attacks, similar to the barrier fruit. To the end, Qin Hao's notebook has been directly upgraded to the level of creating black holes and wormholes. Certainly. These are just good prospects. After all, people have to have dreams. Goo goo. Goo goo. At this time, the hunger in my stomach became even heavier. He needs something to eat now. Qin Hao glanced at the door. There was a small vending machine. There is one at the door of every single rental house, and you can only buy things by investing money. Qin Hao rolled his eyes, stood up and came to the vending machine. The red words "Please insert coins to use" on the LCD screen are particularly conspicuous. These machines are all electromagnetic locks. If I use strong magnetic pulses. While thinking about it, Qin Hao stretched out his finger and tapped on the screen. Zzz. As a burst of electricity sounded. The red subtitles on the LCD screen flashed again and again. Ding! It will directly turn into a green subtitle. Please take the product. Success! Qin Hao grinned. He took out the food, opened the package, and ate it hungrily. Have to say. The saying learn mathematics, physics, and chemistry well, and you will not be afraid of traveling all over the world does make sense. Belch. After eating, Qin Hao patted his belly with satisfaction. After the excitement just now, he opened the system interface and studied it again. Now he is looking forward to the Frog Cub's second trip. But if you look closely, I was immediately shocked. The second trip costs 40,000 euros. 40,000. Directly 20 times more than the first trip. For the first time, I discovered the connection between the system and cyberpunk. Everything costs money, and it's extremely expensive. Qin Hao couldn't help but scratch his head and muttered, 40,000 euros, if you only do odd jobs, how long will it take you? It seems that the most important thing now is to find ways to make money. Thinking of this, Qin Hao got up and prepared to wash up. As soon as I removed the quilt, several small square objects fell from the corner of the bed to the floor. Qin Hao picked it up and took a look, his eyes suddenly lit up. This is the chip from the prosthetic body that was stolen before. This was the first time he had the courage to steal a prosthetic body from a cyber gang dead person, and he was panicking. After simply taking the prosthetic body home and sorting it out, he immediately took it to a black clinic and sold it. He didn't notice at all that the chip on the prosthetic body was left in the house. These chips should be able to be sold for a lot of money. Qin Hao muttered lowly and immediately put the chip in his pocket. After a simple wash, he put on his coat and went out. No matter how small a mosquito is, it is still meat, sell it first. Chapter 3. Out of the shabby slums. Walking through alleys full of garbage, drunkards, and beggars. The first ray of sunshine in the morning. Only then did it shine on Qin Hao. Qin Hao subconsciously stretched out his hand to block it in front of his eyes. A little harsh, but very warm. Good morning, residents of Night City. The weather is sunny today, the temperature is 28 degrees Celsius, please pay attention to prevent ultraviolet rays. The huge 3D screen on the high-rise building in the square plays AI weather forecasts and various business advertisements. Oh, there is no such thing as morning in Night City. Qin Hao couldn't help but complain. After getting used to the sunlight, I walked into the maglev train station with my hands in my pockets. The prosthetic doctor he knew was near Little Chinatown. It's a few stops away from Watson's Edge, where I live. Swipe your card to enter the station. Once entering the maglev train, the seats are already occupied, many of them are company dogs rushing to work the morning shift. It can be seen from the logo on the suit that those are basically employees of Arezaka Company. Arezaka Corporation. The true king of Night City. The top capitalist giant consortium. The current group of employees rushing to work during the morning rush hour are just slaves of Arezaka Company. People who live at the bottom and are exploited like dogs. Both hateful and pathetic. Looking at the cyber transformers on the train who all have their own card slots behind their ears. Qin Hao, whose whole body is made of original parts, seems a bit out of place. After all, in Night City, native blank bodies basically have no right to survive. From the king of the city to the beggar and drunkard on the roadside. More or less, his body has been transformed by prosthetics. In this regard, Qin Hao doesn't care. After installing the prosthetic body, it is indeed stronger than the original body, and daily life is faster and more convenient. But he just wouldn't change. Push the hood of your coat over your head. Leaning against the car door, he took out the chip in his pocket and started to play with it. It has the word Arezaka printed on it, and it is obviously a product of the Arezaka company. As the top supplier of weapons and vehicles, the chips produced are naturally the most expensive among all types of chips. Thinking of this, Qin Hao couldn't help but reveal an arc at the corner of his mouth. I have to think carefully about how to bargain with that black-hearted old guy Claude later. A prosthetic doctor in the black market of Night City. Never recognize money but not people. If Arezaka Corporation is the master who enslaves the lower class, then the black market doctors in Night City are the leeches that suck the money of the lower class. So, when dealing with black market prosthetics doctors, be sure to be cautious. It's just that Qin Hao didn't notice. A gaze not far away was looking at him faintly. The maglev train is driving smoothly all the way. Passing through 2 stations, everything was business as usual. 2 stops later is the destination. Looking at the scenery passing by outside the car door, it can be considered a quiet morning. The sun shines through the tall buildings. Intermittently, Qin Hao lazily raised his head and squinted his eyes to enjoy. But the next moment, Qin Hao's expression suddenly changed. The pupils shrank suddenly. The magnetic field centered on him fluctuated slightly. This means someone has entered his magnetic field. Pocket. In just a flash of lightning, Qin Hao instantly discovered where the magnetic field fluctuated. He quickly reached out and grabbed his waist. Snapped. Impartial. He actually happened to catch an arm in his hand. Thief. This was the first thought that flashed through Qin Hao's mind. In a place like Night City, stealth and looting are completely commonplace. If you don't take good care of your belongings when you go out, they may be gone in the blink of an eye. You are unlucky today for daring to steal from me. The second thought flashed through Qin Hao's mind. As soon as he became a devil fruit user, he met a thief. Wasn't this thief looking for death? In line with the idea that this nasty thief must be taught a lesson, Qin Hao turned his head suddenly. Look behind you. This look. But it is eternal. He saw the owner of his arm only a few centimeters away from him. Due to the pushing and shoving of office workers around, Qin Hao could even feel the hot breath exhaled from the other party's nose, as well as the vague fragrance on his body. A head of short blue-white hair. A slightly personal yet just right red eyeshadow. And a pair of azure-modified eyes full of surprise. This is what Qin Hao remembers most deeply about the first intuitive perspective of the thief in front of him. Especially those blue eyes. Under the intermittent sunlight outside the car door, it also flickers on and off, making it look particularly beautiful. Next, it was Qin Hao's turn to be shocked. Isn't this Lucy from Cyberpunk, Edgewalker? He never expected. In this way, I will meet the two-dimensional character I liked in Blue Star. Although Lucy in the anime Cyberpunk, Edgewalker. Originally, he was a fringe person who used to steal as a side job in Night City. But Qin Hao really didn't expect that the other party would steal it from him. After all, I am just a native body without any prosthetics installed. Did I get targeted just now when I took out the chip? A thought flashed through Qin Hao's mind. I couldn't help but secretly sigh that the little girl Lucy in front of me had really vicious eyes. At this time, the maglev train came to an emergency stop, and the announcement began to sound, ding dong. Passengers, please pay attention, Kabukicho station is here, please. Due to the effect of inertia, Lucy, who was already very close to her, suddenly pressed against Qin Hao's chest. So soft. This is Qin Hao's most direct feeling. Sir, how long are you going to hold people's hands? Lucy raised her head and asked with a silky breath. The tall and thin Qin Hao is just a head taller than her. She threw herself on Qin Hao's chest. It seems to be a bit like a bird. Qin Hao looked down. The two looked at each other. The surprise in Lucy's eyes was gone, and she was completely charming and shy. This little girl is so charming that she can kill people. Qin Hao knew in his heart that Lucy made this gesture to escape. But who can resist such a sexy and cute girl acting like a coquettish girl in front of you? In addition, Qin Hao was already very fond of Lucy. His heart skipped a beat and his throat felt a little dry. It's okay to let go, you, just give me back the chip in your hand. Chapter 4. Seeing Qin Hao discovering her theft, the charming look on Lucy's face suddenly disappeared. I've been discovered. Instead, he looked indifferent. Okay, I'll give it back to you. As he spoke, the hand being held opened at the same time. With her temperament, of course it's not just open and flat. With a little force on your hands. The few chips he held in his hand suddenly radiated and flew into the air. This girl. Qin Hao's pupils shrank suddenly. There are people coming and going on the train at the moment. If Lucy, a little girl, really scatters chips all over the floor. Not to mention how many can be picked up. By then, the few chips I have may not be enough for these corporate dogs who are eager to go to work. Looking at Qin Hao's shocked face, Lucy's face showed a sly smile like a wild cat. The reason why she did this was to take the opportunity to escape. Taking advantage of the panic. Maybe you can get back the few chips you threw out. Lucy's other hand drooped, and the prosthetic wrist shone with golden light. That's her weapon. Thin as spider silk, yet tough as steel. Can take human lives silently. It can also catch flying chips. Just when Lucy was about to take advantage of the chaos. But what happened next moment made her freeze in place in shock. I saw the chips flying towards the roof of the car. It was as if he was being pulled by an invisible force. The momentum of the upward flight was rapid. It's like floating briefly. At this time Qin Hao stretched out his hand. A few chips automatically returned to his hand, just like pressing the navigation button. Dear passengers, please note that when the train starts, please do not lean against the door to prevent. The train announcement sounded again, and the maglev train started again. Only then did Qin Hao take the initiative to let go of Lucy's hand and sit down on the empty seat behind him. Hey! Fortunately, I went out and had breakfast. He took a breath, looked into Lucy's eyes and said, Hey, can you stop being so naughty in the future, and pay it back properly? He wasn't worried about Lucy leaving. Because she had nowhere to go on the moving train. Hearing this, Lucy, whose face was already full of shock, couldn't help but twitch the corners of her eyes. The look in Qin Hao's eyes was filled with disbelief. Or in other words, more of a puzzle. A boy who was stolen or played by himself not only did not get angry at himself. Instead, he sat down like a normal person. Act like an elder to stop yourself from being so naughty. Is there something wrong with this person's brain? Moreover, he looked about 17 to 8 years old, about the same age as me. Or a little smaller than myself. Seeing Lucy staying in place stupidly, Qin Hao couldn't help but feel like laughing. Unexpectedly, Lucy, who is wandering on the edge of Night City and murdering without blinking an eye. He actually has such a cute side. You shouldn't be pretending, right? Looking at Lucy, Qin Hao is 100% sure that she has not yet met David, the tragic hero of cyberpunk, Edgewalker. Cyberpunk, Edgewalker is a tragedy. No money, no strength. It is destined to be a tragedy in this Night City. From the moment the two met, the outcome was already doomed. So, Qin Hao was filled with reluctance that this kind of thing would happen again to this enchanting and slightly cute girl in front of him. What are you still doing? Seeing Lucy still standing dumbly, Qin Hao patted the empty seat next to him. Aren't you tired? Sit down. The maglev train is still moving rapidly. The time passing through the car window is scattered, flickering in and out. The scene of two people standing and looking at each other. There is a bit of inexplicable harmony. Maybe Qin Hao didn't notice either. His encounter with Lucy is inexplicably similar to the encounter between Lucy and David in Cyberpunk, Edgewalker. Only, The difference is that this time Qin Hao became the active party and Lucy became the passive party. David was unable to protect the girl in front of him. And Qin Hao. But it is full of infinite possibilities. Chapter 5. Well. Lucy came back to her senses, couldn't help but shake her head with a smile on her face. I don't know if he was laughing at his lack of concentration just now. Still laughing at Qin Hao's weird words and deeds. She then opened her slender thighs. Step. 2 steps. Sit down next to Qin Hao. Come closer. He looked up and down at the man in front of him. A head of black hair that reaches the eyebrows. Brown-black pupils, very deep. Standard Asian facial features, but very three-dimensional. I don't know if it's because of the alternating light and darkness outside the car window. For a moment, Lucy felt that the boy in front of her, who behaved strangely, was inexplicably pleasing to the eye. At least it doesn't feel as cold as the residents of Night City. You ever met me? Lucy asked tentatively. Qin Hao nodded, then shook his head, so, but not really. Giggle, you talk very strangely. Lucy chuckled. The corners of his eyes are curved into crescents, which is very beautiful. She doesn't care about Qin Hao's answer. After all, in a place like Night City, who cares about things other than money? While talking and laughing. While she was looking at Qin Hao, her blue pupils instantly turned red. When Qin Hao saw this, he immediately understood that Lucy was using her prosthetic eyes to scan information on her body. I couldn't help but smile bitterly and shake my head. This little girl really has 800 tricks. He's chatting and laughing with you 1 second, and then he's rude the next. At this moment, he had a deep understanding of the saying, a woman can fall out of love faster than she can turn over a book. Lucy, who usually engages in shoplifting as a side job. His main job is to be a top hacker. You only need to scan the target with both eyes, and you can basically obtain all the information on the other party. After some scanning, the result surprised Lucy. The Asian man sitting in front of her. It turned out to be a protozoa. A blank original body that is so small that even a fingernail has not been modified. You don't have any prosthetics in your body? Lucy asked with a confused look on her face. Qin Hao nodded, I'm afraid of pain. Lucy frowned and said, there is an anesthetic. Qin Hao shrugged, no money. Lucy was speechless. She has never heard an answer like Qin Hao's. It sounds a bit absurd at first. But if you take a closer look, it seems to be the same thing. The ultimate reason is or money. Geez, forget it. Lucy smiled again. But he felt a little helpless and stood up. Sir, people like you are not suitable to live in Night City. It's better to leave as soon as possible. Then, she flipped up her short hair with her backhand, as if she had a lot of charm. It was a pleasure talking to you today, but I have to go to work. Goodbye. After saying that, she turned around and left to work in other compartments. Wait. At this moment, Qin Hao's voice sounded behind him. Lucy stopped and turned around. Is there anything else? Qin Hao shrugged and said, maybe we can try to cooperate. Cooperate? As soon as these words came out, Lucy couldn't help but giggle out loud. Giggle. In what areas do you mean we can cooperate? What can a 100% original body cooperate with? She really hadn't thought about this before. Qin Hao took out the chip from his pocket with his backhand. If you cooperate in this, I will help you with the work and you will be responsible for the shipment. It will be divided into 30 to 70 afterwards. You are 3, I am 7. Ha ha ha. Hearing this, Lucy laughed and bent over. I don't know if she was amused by Qin Hao's words. Still laughed out of anger. Dai Diao walked up to Qin Hao, leaned over and gently poked Qin Hao's forehead with his finger. Hey, I told you, you have become a cyberpsychotic before you even installed the prosthetic body. Do you know what will happen if you are caught stealing chips in Night City? A native like you should leave here before you die. I don't have time to play with you now. Who knew that before Lucy finished her last sentence? Qin Hao shook a chip in his hand and said, I can't cooperate with you like this. Lucy glanced at it, shook her head disdainfully and said, Tisk, 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 it's just a platinum credit chip. I have it myself. But just halfway through her words, she suddenly realized something was wrong. He used his backhand to touch the slot behind his ear. Already empty. It's my platinum credit chip. Lucy's pupils shrank in shock. She never thought of it. The man in front of me was just chatting with him. His credit chip was stolen without anyone noticing. And it's from the hands of a top hacker like myself. Chapter 6. The credit chip is similar to a credit card and can be inserted behind the ear for direct payment. Lucy's platinum credit chip contains her savings from years of work. More specifically, what remains is her dream. If someone really steals it, then half of her almost black and white world might collapse. Without even thinking about it, Lucy snatched the credit chip back and pressed it back into the card slot. He did not forget to curse and muttered, You abominable thief, if you really steal this chip from me, I will fight you tooth and nail. Qin Hao shrugged helplessly, but his eyes were full of confidence. Do you think I have the ability to cooperate with you now? One word wakes up the dreamer. Lucy was also stunned for a moment. Indeed. I didn't even notice when this guy stole my chip just now. Or, it's like he hasn't touched me at all. Thoughts flashed rapidly in Lucy's mind, combined with the previous scene of Qin Hao taking back the chips all over the sky. This guy has such means, maybe we can really cooperate with him. But I want to think back. Out of caution, Lucy asked directly, Why did you ask me to cooperate? Because I'm short of money. Qin Hao didn't squint his eyes and answered truthfully, Moreover, there is no familiar shipping channel. Obviously, the latter is Qin Hao's most fatal shortcoming. He came to this cyberpunk world not long ago, and the only prosthetic doctor he had ever interacted with was the old guy Claude, the black market doctor near Little Chinatown. Look at the situation where Qin Hao is a pure protozoan rookie and is in a hurry for money. Prosthetic materials directly worth at least 3,000 euros. It was cut to 800 euros abruptly. That kind of black-hearted guy. If Qin Hao really resells a large amount of chips, will he still go to him? Unless your brain is crazy. In terms of connections. Naturally, local cyber fringe people like Lucy are the most popular. Moreover, when we were at Blue Star, just know something about Lucy and like it. This is another main reason why Qin Hao took the initiative to seek cooperation with Lucy. Trust. In this place called Night City, it is something more precious than money. If it were another unfamiliar cyber-marginal person, even if the other party takes the initiative to come to your door, Qin Hao really didn't dare to cooperate with the other party rashly. After hearing the answer, Lucy didn't respond immediately. He just looked at Qin Hao in front of him blankly. It was as if he was analyzing the truth or falsehood of his words, and he seemed to be looking for the flaws that the other party had inadvertently revealed. Who? The train is moving rapidly. As the two looked at each other, light and shadow intersect. My name is Lucy. The next moment, Lucy took the initiative to reach out her hand. Qin Hao. Qin Hao smiled faintly and extended his hand as well. That's it. The two held hands together. Qin Hao? From Sakura country. Lucy sat back next to Qin Hao, her vigilance disappeared from her face. The name sounds weird. I'm from the Dragon country. Not Zairi, from the Sakura country. Qin Hao shook his head and said seriously, You can just call me Qin. In the cyberpunk world, the main thing is to stick to the Yingjiang country's style of address. It's more convenient to call them by the same surname. Okay. Lucy nodded thoughtfully. Qin Hao looked up at the stop sign and stood up. Okay, it's getting late, let's start working. Etc. At this time, Lucy discovered a problem and asked, "You don't have a prosthetic communicator, how should I direct you when you are working?" To know. Although she stole chips on the maglev train, there is a way to steal. The thefts were all aimed at chips developed by Arezaka Corporation. As a top hacker, Lucy, just by scanning closely with the prosthetic eye, you can quietly hack into the other party's system, identify the chip manufacturer and take action. But now I have to work with Qin Hao. Then she must direct Qin Hao to choose the target for theft. If Qin Hao were to steal every passenger, that's not her Lucy style. A simple communication facility. Now it has become a big problem. Oh, this shouldn't be a big problem. Who knows? Qin Hao responded and put his hand to his forehead. The essence of a communicator is electromagnetic waves. It should not be difficult to operate at close range. Hey, by the way, what's your communicator number? Can I try to adjust the band frequency? My number is 29,374. Although Lucy looked confused, she still told her number truthfully. Okay, just wait a moment. After that, Qin Hao closed his eyes and began to search for nearby electromagnetic frequencies. Since the two of them are very close. Almost the next moment, Qin Hao opened his eyes. Lucy, please try to answer the call. Lucy looked confused. Why answer? Beep. Doo-doo. Before she finished speaking, a caller ID appeared on the screen of her prosthetic eye. The incoming call message was actually a string of garbled characters. Lucy confirmed the answer. Hey, can you hear me? Next moment, Qin Hao's voice sounded directly from her prosthetic communicator. What? Lucy's pupils shrank in shock, and she asked in disbelief, how did you do it? Of course, she also used a communicator to transmit her voice. Immediately afterwards, Qin Hao in front of her smiled slightly. The lips did not move. Qin Hao's voice came from the communicator. Don't forget, I am from the Dragon Kingdom. Is it okay to know some mysterious Eastern magic? Chapter 7. As long as you can hear it, start working. Qin Hao didn't have time to take into account the surprise on Lucy's face. Because he couldn't explain it. Not to mention, right now, he is still eager to make money and cash out. The most important thing is to send that little frog cub out for a trip as soon as possible. After saying that, Qin Hao put a hood on his head to hide his figure. Follow me closely. If you are far away, you won't be able to contact me. Humph, what the hell, you obviously took the initiative to ask me to cooperate. Looking at the back of Qin Hao walking away in front of her, Lucy couldn't help but complain, and hurriedly followed her. Hey, Qin, wait for me. That's all. The two of them were in tandem. He began to walk seemingly aimlessly in the carriage. The distance is always about 7 or 8 meters apart. Lucy was directing the selection of objects from behind, while Qin Hao was doing the work in front. That moment, just like the reappearance of the scene from Cyberpunk, Edgewalker. Only, Qin Hao does not need to use military prosthetics to move quickly like David. He put his hands in his pockets, with his hood hanging down, completely like a pure passerby. Passing by a train passenger who is dozing off or busy talking on the phone. He comes gently. Also walk gently. Doesn't attract anyone's attention. Only when passing by the target chosen by Lucy. Qin Hao took it away. It's not just the breeze passing by. And the chip in the card slot behind their target's ear. His magnetic fruit ability. It may still be difficult to control large objects now. But what a coincidence! This smart chip is mini and has an integrated circuit. After setting its own magnetic field to S level and the nearby target chip to N level. Stealing the chip? It can be done naturally and easily. Keep your feet on your feet. Then, looking for the next victim. As the train passes through the steel building, passing the neon lights of the tunnel, the two figures also swayed in and out with the light. Every time a shadow flashes, it's like every frame of film is frozen. The two of them kept their pace. Just walked quietly like this. It seemed like nothing was said, but everything was said. The whole scene is like a silent movie. It makes people inexplicably think of a lyric. I can follow you, like a shadow chasing the light, sleepwalking. Very beautiful. But Qin Hao and Lucy in the picture. I have no intention of observing anything beautiful or not at the moment. At the bottom of the Sin City Night City, what they care about is whether they can survive. Qin Hao extracted the chip very quickly. Although the strength of using the magnetic fruit is consuming, but his proficiency in using abilities has also improved visibly. Lucy behind me, looking at Qin Hao's back, walking leisurely in front and back. My thoughts are constantly changing. Is this guy a fellow traveler? After following Qin Hao through 6 carriages, Lucy thought with a smile on her face, my hands and feet are really neat and clean. Is it completely non-stop? Even if I take action, I can only visit 7 or 8 carriages. After following Qin Hao through 10 carriages, Lucy's smile froze on her face, full of surprise. This kid is definitely a habitual offender. Until within driving time of 1 station, Qin Hao and Lucy swept through the entire line-changing maglev train, a total of 13 carriages. There was no smile on Lucy's face, and she was full of doubts. Could this kid be a wanted person for company-level theft? Is there a reward amount? Ding dong! Dear passengers, please pay attention, Little Chinatown Station is here, please. The next moment, the train arrival horn sounded. Oh, we just arrived at the station. Qin Hao stood at the car door, turned around and asked, Lucy, shall we get off? Lucy quickly regained her composure and nodded, get out of the car. The car door opens. The two of them were just like normal people. Following the flow of people, they walked out of the train station. After leaving the train station, what comes into view is the bustling street scene of Little Chinatown. A combination of various modern cyberpunk styles and the ancient architecture of the Dragon Kingdom in the 1970s and 1980s. There are very personal graffiti everywhere. There is also the constant flow of vehicles on the streets. All of them are telling silently. The Little Chinatown, a night city, once flourished as the second city center. Qin Hao is quite familiar with the Little Chinatown area. The main reason is that most Asians are gathered here. The Afterlife bar where I work is also nearby. Within a month of being sent, he basically travels between Chinatown and home. 3 crutches and 2 crutches. Qin Hao took Lucy to a nearby underground parking lot. Things like dividing the spoils. Always shady. Seeing that there was no one around, Qin Hao threw his coat pocket to the ground with his backhand. Wow! A pile of microchips with the word Arazaka printed on them were dumped on the ground. At first glance, there are probably as many as 40 or 50. Even if the price of an ordinary Arazaka chip is around 1,000 euros. There is at least 40,000 to 50,000 euros worth here. Not to mention that many of them are credit chips. As long as it is deciphered, you can get a lot of money out of it. Perhaps this order will be enough to cover the cost of Frog Cub's second trip. Qin Hao looked at the pile of chips on the ground and thought excitedly. Have to say, there is no future in being a company dog in Night City. Earning black money is the fastest way. Chapter 8. Looking at the chips piled up in front of me like a small hill. No matter how strong Lucy's mental quality is, he couldn't help but show a look of shock again. You can get so many chips in just one job. To know. Even if she takes action herself. By sweeping the carriage, I'm afraid I can only get about 20 or 30 chips at once. And you have to get out of the car quickly after taking the chip. Otherwise, some alert passengers may discover it accidentally. Like following Qin Hao today. Take a leisurely walk all the way. Get off safely at the station. How can we still get so many chips? This is actually the first time. The most important thing is, the man from the Dragon Kingdom in front of him was concentrating on counting chips. It's still a native body without any prosthetics installed. Qin, you were in the stealing business before. Anna couldn't help her curiosity, so Lucy asked Qin Hao. 36, 37, 3. No, it's the first time today. Qin Hao didn't even raise his head, and kept moving his hands. 41, 42, 43. First. Still so skilled. Hearing this answer, the first reaction in Lucy's mind was, "You're bluffing." But when she recalled Qin Hao's clear and translucent brown eyes, the confusion and doubts in my heart could not help but stagnate. For a guy who doesn't have half a prosthetic body, what should I worry about? Moreover, this is the city of night. If you have money, you can do it. Why do you want so much? Thoughts of speaking for Qin Hao flooded into Lucy's mind one after another. She herself couldn't help but smile bitterly and shake her head, thinking to herself, maybe, it's exactly what this guy said. As a mysterious dragon countryman, does he really know some Eastern magic? Finally finished counting. At this time, Qin Hao sighed. Then he raised his buried head. Lucy, there are a total of 52 chips here, and. Hey! What's there to be happy about? Looking at Lucy giggling alone, Qin Hao couldn't help being stunned. It's okay. Lucy was startled when she heard this, then turned around with a smile on her face. The sun is just right. Across the simple roof of the parking lot. Impartial. It happened to shine softly on Qin Hao's angular face. Especially his dark brown eyes. In the sunshine, it appears clearer and translucent. Coupled with Qin Hao's confused and slightly stupid look at the moment. But it made Lucy, after a brief moment of astonishment. He immediately revealed a charming and sly smile. Next moment, she just moved her face forward. The distance between the two is almost only 0.01 centimeters. Lucy had a smile on her lips and exhaled like silk. Isn't it a pleasure to meet you today? The distance between the two of them is too close. Qin Hao could even clearly feel the hot breath exhaled by Lucy as she spoke. Besides, the faint scent of her hair. In a ray of sunshine, the two looked at each other. Just like the moment when Qin Hao caught Lucy on the train. Only, this time the two were closer. Precisely. It's too close. Qin Hao was immediately frightened. Lean back. He fell to the ground in one fell swoop. Ouch! It hurt so much that Qin Hao covered his butt and grinned. Pfft! Seeing this, Lucy couldn't help but burst out laughing, giggle. The sound is as clear as a silver bell. She bathed in the only sunlight in the parking lot. As beautiful as a silver-haired angel. Hee hee, hee hee. Qin Hao didn't know what he was doing for a moment. He scratched his head and laughed. It seems to be a happy thing to know me. Looking at Qin Hao like that, Lucy smiled even more. What else could a silly boy like this lie to me about? For a time, she completely relieved her worries. While smiling, he stretched out his white arms towards Qin Hao. Okay, get up. Qin Hao was not polite and took Lucy's jade hand. He patted his butt and stood up. Let's get down to business, divide this pile into 30 to 70, as promised before, right? Although the beauty is nice, one must distinguish between public and private affairs. Will you transfer the money to me when the time comes, or will I accompany you to do the transaction with the seller? After Qin Hao stood up, he said this without any pause. Lucy raised her eyebrows and asked, "Are you short of money?" "It's very lacking." Qin Hao nodded with firm eyes. "There's really nothing I can do about you. Lucy shrugged and said with a smile, seeing that you performed well today, I will make an exception and give it to you now. Halfway through her words, she remembered something. Oh, I almost forgot that you didn't install a payment device. How much is your bank account? Can I transfer it to you? Okay. Qin Hao was overjoyed and immediately took out his mobile phone. Here, this is my electronic bank account. Next moment, numbers jumped in Lucy's eyes. Okay, the transfer was successful, just check it later. After saying that, he squatted down and started picking up chips from the ground. Ding ding. Mobile phone SMS alert tone. Qin Hao opened it and took a look. Arezaka Bank reminder, your electronic account remitted 55,000 euros at 10:05, and the balance is 55,010.2 euros. Thank you for using this electronic bank. This little girl actually wired me 55,000 euros. Looking at the balance transferred into the account, Qin Hao couldn't help but feel shocked. This amount of money was almost more than half of his expected income. Not only did the frog cubs have enough money to travel, there's even some left. Lucy, did you transfer too much money to me just now? Qin Hao asked in disbelief. That's what you deserve, no more. Who knew Lucy didn't even raise her head? Just like Qin Hao was counting chips just now. He concentrated on picking up the chip on the ground. Besides, you are very short of money. This sentence was said very casually. Casual enough to be ignored. But Qin Hao's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. The speaker has no intention. The listener has a heart. Within a month of living in Night City, Qin Hao already knows how dark this city is. Profit first, cold-blooded. But the Lucy in front of me. But it was like a ray of sunshine, shining quietly on him. Thanks. These two simple words represent Qin Hao's most sincere heart. At this time, Lucy raised her head. If you really want to thank me, then help me pick out the chips together. Don't just stand there in a daze. Oh. Qin Hao was as happy as ever, and immediately squatted down to help. How to choose this? Look, the one with this code is an ordinary credit chip. This code? Idiot, I teach you to make mistakes. That's all. The two of them squatted in the beam of sunlight, laughing and picking out chips. But they didn't pay attention. In the dark corner of the garage, a pair of greedy eyes stared directly at them. With so many Arezaka chips, we can definitely make a lot of money. Hey, Seth? What's the matter? I'm busy. Boss, we have a big windfall on our territory. Okay, you hold them back for me, I'll be right over. Yes, boss. Chapter 9. Okay, the chip processing is almost done. Lucy sorted all the chips into her jacket pocket. Standing up and flipping her hair, Ying smiled and said, it was a pleasure cooperating with you today, Qin. Me too. Qin Hao nodded with a smile and added, nice to meet you. Okay, then look forward to the next time we meet. Hey. A scoundrel voice suddenly sounded in the dark corner of the garage. He directly interrupted the conversation between Lucy and the two. Since you are so happy today, why don't we also cooperate? In addition to being full of ridicule, the tone was also mixed with a thick Eastern European accent. Hear the sound. The smiles on Lucy and Qin Hao's faces suddenly disappeared. He looked towards the darkness with a solemn expression. Encountering this kind of situation in Night City, that means you're going to be in trouble. In the dark corner, the first thing to light up is a pair of red prosthetic eye highlights. Immediately afterwards, it's just an infrared aiming beam swaying, aimed directly at Lucy's forehead. Girl, I advise you not to move. The next moment, a tall, thin guy walked out with a pistol. It was Seth who called secretly just now. As he approached with careless steps, he used the modified pair of cheap Kilozy prosthetic eyes to look up and down and scan Lucy's body. if there is even the slightest movement, your expensive prosthetic body will belong to me. Already. I thought it was just a bunch of chips, but I didn't expect that the body contained a big treasure. After all, he couldn't help but stick out a forked tongue like a snake core and lick his lips. His face was full of excitement. Qin Hao on the side could see clearly. I couldn't help but feel sick in my heart. Even the tongue has been changed into a prosthetic one, it's so damn perverted. After seeing the other party's appearance clearly, Lucy showed a sneer on her face. Humph, I thought it was who it was. It turns out to be the scavenger bug. Cut the FG nonsense. Seth shouted angrily, swinging the pistol in his hand slightly. Pour out all the chips in your pockets and raise your hands high. As for Qin Hao on the side, he didn't take it to heart at all. After all, while hiding aside, he had already scanned the most threatening men first. It turns out that Qin Hao is a blank original body without prosthetics. The threat is directly reduced to zero. So, as soon as Seth came out, he pointed his gun at Lucy. I advise you not to point your gun at a lady. Who would have known that at this moment, Qin Hao, whom he had designated as the threat zero, said, otherwise, you may be in bad luck today. The words are cold. It's like telling Qin Hao's silent anger. Although this was also the first time he faced a crisis head-on. I also felt a little panicked. But almost when he saw the other party pointing the gun at Lucy's head, Qin Hao calmed down instantly. It would be fine if I didn't meet Lucy. But God allowed them to meet unexpectedly. Then he, Qin Hao, would never let Lucy be in danger. If even a scavenger can't solve it, then what about protection? Talk about ambition. I think I'm better than that guy David. This is the only thought in Qin Hao's mind at the moment. As soon as these words came out, it's Lucy beside you. He couldn't help but glance at Qin Hao in astonishment, and then a smile appeared on his solemn face. I don't know if he was laughing. Qin Hao stood up for himself. Still laughing at his little courage. Ha ha ha. The next moment, Seth's sharp and harsh ridicule rang out, damn it, there are really men in all eras who only think in terms of G8. You want to be a hero and show off, right? I will help you now. After saying that, the gunhead turned directly. Boom. He pulled the trigger towards Qin Hao's heart. Oops. Lucy's pupils shrank sharply, and she tried to push Qin Hao aside. No matter how fast she is. Not as fast as a bullet. At this moment, her heart was a little confused. With Qin Hao's body, if he was shot in the heart, he would definitely die on the spot. Fool! You idiot! Lucy's mind was filled with curses on Qin Hao. But the next moment, the scene before her eyes immediately stunned Lucy. Call out! Bullets that were originally invisible to the naked eye. At this time, there was a clearly visible trajectory in the air. The closer the bullet gets to Qin Hao, the slower it becomes. It was as if there was some huge resistance in front of me. It's blocking the bullet. To the end. The speed of bullets flying in the air is like a turtle speed. The scene is as incredible as a scene from The Matrix. Obviously. It was Qin Hao who activated the magnetic fruit ability. Make yourself and the metal shell of the bullet mutually repulsive. Since this was the first time I used fruit power to fight bullets, Qin Hao also seemed a little struggling. The rapidly flying bullet itself has extremely strong kinetic energy. While Qin Hao slowed down the bullet, he also took a few steps back. Only then can I stabilize my figure. But even so, in the eyes of Lucy and others, the scene before them seemed like it is already an existence like a science fiction dream. In the real world, who the hell can stop a bullet with his bare hands? Chapter 10. What the FK is this? Seth looked at the scene in front of him, and his prosthetic eyes shrank in shock. Hell, what a hell! While yelling in panic, he raised his hand and was about to shoot Qin Hao again. But he has no chance. Lucy turned her head. The azure pupils instantly turned to crimson with just one glance. Kaka. With a burst of electromagnetic signal abnormal sound. Seth, who was so angry just a moment ago, suddenly twitched. Sparks flashed on the prosthetic brain, and a pair of prosthetic eyes rolled their eyes in confusion. You are hackers. The top hackers in the cyber era are so terrifying. If you don't pay attention, it can temporarily paralyze the prosthetic transformers system in an instant. Next moment, Lucy moved. A ray of golden monomolecular thread was instantly ejected from the wrist, and the leg prosthetic microrotor started to operate immediately. In just 2 or 3 blinks, Lucy appeared in front of Seth nimbly at nearly twice the speed of a normal person. The single molecular thread on the wrist quickly wrapped around Seth's neck. The arm suddenly exerted force. Poof! Blood splattered everywhere. Seth's head was separated instantly. After the head jumped high, it fell heavily to the ground. Like rolling sweet potatoes. Gilyulu rolled around for a few times before stopping. Because the neurons in the brain are not completely dead, Seth's dead-head mouth was still opening and closing on the ground. But can't make any sound. It looks extremely weird. Snapped. Without any hesitation, Lucy raised her foot and violently trampled the dead man's head to pieces, leaving his brains muddled on the ground. It's so annoying even after death. It's really a scavenger bug. Qin Hao next to him looked at a prosthetic eye that rolled down in front of him, and couldn't help but mutter in his heart, when did Lucy, this girl, have such a hot temper? Qin, are you okay? At this time, Lucy's voice came over. Qin Hao's reputation went. Lucy's angry expression when she stepped on her head was gone. The opposite of. There was a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. No, it's not a big problem. Qin Hao shook his head in confusion. That's good, I was really scared to death just now. Lucy's smile widened and she nodded, it seems like you really have the mysterious Eastern power. Qin Hao was stunned. Could it be that this girl is angry because she is worried about me? He couldn't help but smile on his face and joked, haha, there are hundreds of millions of points, but not much. Woohoo! Woo-woo! Just at this time, the sound of a locomotive slamming on the accelerator sounded not far away, approaching from far away. Oops, this guy's help should be here. Lucy's expression changed, and she took Qin Hao's hand. Let's get out of here. Qin Hao held Lucy tightly, and the two ran towards the main road ahead. Just ran a short distance. There was a burst of shouting from behind. Boss, this guy Seth was killed. Damn it, why did you come over here to see the body of this BD before I finished doing things in bed? Today. Then 2 gunshots rang out. It must have been opened by the leader of the scavenger gang to vent his anger. Boss, there are 2 people in front of you running away in a hurry. At this time, a boy who installed a lookout prosthetic eye shouted. Which direction? The leader, Oris, asked angrily. The 8 spider-like prosthetic eyes on the little brother's face immediately shrank and focused. He stretched out his hand and pointed in the direction where Qin Hao and the 2 escaped, that direction. FK, let me chase you. Oris ordered. He turned around and fired several times at Seth's body. Today. Today. What a waste. A bug who can't even waste time. Woohoo. Woo-woo. Next moment, several boys immediately hit the accelerator. He quickly chased after Qin Hao. Chapter 11. Lucy pulled Qin Hao and ran all the way to the main road. Without looking back he asked, Qin, can you drive? Well, a little bit, not a lot. Qin Hao responded subconsciously. Monk Zhong'er was a little confused. Just open it. Lucy kept walking and glanced around. Yes. Follow me. After saying that, he pulled Qin Hao and ran towards a luxury car parked on the roadside. Qin Hao saw this. Suddenly I understood what Lucy was going to do. Stealing cars on the street. Proper GTA behavior. Certainly. This is the city of night, as long as you are talented and bold. Then there is nothing you can't do except what you can't think of. Did he? Arriving in front of the car, the red garbled characters in Lucy's eyes began to beat. Click. Next moment, the electronic door lock was cracked instantly. Boarding. Without saying too much nonsense, Lucy took the initiative to sit in the passenger seat. I need to spend a little time to crack the driving system now. As soon as the system is cracked, you drive immediately. Qin Hao took a deep breath, sat on the driver's seat and closed the door with his backhand. Understood. Woohoo! At the same time, with the roar of a furious engine, several runaway motorcycles led by the little scavenger leader Oris sped out of the alleyway. Without any regard for the safety of the many pedestrians on the main road. With a sudden rush, he rushed directly to the main road. Boss, those two guys are over there. The younger brother with the prosthetic eye rolled his 6 eyes and immediately spotted Qin Hao and Qin Hao in the car not far away. Come on for me. Don't let anyone go. Oris yelled, picked up the machine gun in his hand and fired 2 shots into the sky. It caused a lot of pedestrians on the road to run away with their heads in their hands. Alas! The motorcycle boy screamed strangely. He twisted the accelerator and rushed towards Qin Hao and the two of them. Listening to the sound getting louder and louder from behind the car. The sound of the engine getting closer and closer. Qin Hao was so nervous that his heart was in his throat for a while. While watching movies and anime. When seeing the scene where the protagonist group is besieged by gangsters, Qin Hao will not feel this pressure and tension at all. Because he knew that it was the protagonist group. I will definitely not be killed by a bunch of little luoluo. But when it was really my turn to experience it, that damn oppressive feeling is unstoppable. A kind of fear of not knowing whether to live or die in the next second, and a real tension of licking blood from the edge of a knife. Coming like a tidal wave. Yes. Everyone is the protagonist in their own story. But the ending of each protagonist's story is different. Some can become living legends. Some of them may be passers-by who are slaughtered the moment they appear. Although Qin Hao currently possesses the ability of the magnetic fruit. But after all, it only lasted less than a day. No matter how talented he is. After all, there is a limit to the mastery of abilities. Just using magnetism to block a bullet was already difficult. Now if we face the heavy fire from the sweeper behind us. What's the result? To be honest, Qin Hao felt really unsure. Damn, I can't be so unlucky, can I? Qin Hao took a deep breath, and his hands on the steering wheel couldn't help but tremble slightly. I don't know if it's because of excessive nervousness. Or am I excited because I am experiencing the life of a person on the edge of cyberspace on the line between life and death? Now, in a high-end coffee shop not far from the road, a celebrity in a suit was chatting in the store. Do you know, I will be filming a movie with Arazaka Films tomorrow, and I will still be the protagonist. Then you will be able to see me on the big screen in the center of Night City. As soon as these words came out, all the friends at the same table applauded and cast envious glances and flattering compliments at the celebrity. Celebrities enjoy the praise and applause to their heart's content. For a time, he is the protagonist in the entire cafe. Boom! The next moment, a huge crash outside instantly broke the tranquility in the cafe. Everyone looked outside. Oh my god, it's those cyberpunk trash racing again. These people are really the trash of Night City. Hey, why does that luxury car they hit with their motorcycle look so familiar? That's my FG car. The celebrity suddenly changed his face and rushed out with a loud shout, what are you guys doing? Why did you hit my car? Get out of here quickly, or I will call the terrorist mobile team. Now. The scavenger boys drove their motorcycles and hit the car body crazily. Two jumped directly onto the trunk of the car. I heard smashing and noise outside the car. Feeling the violent vibrations of the car body, Qin Hao's hand holding the steering wheel was also slightly sweaty. Success! Fortunately, this suffering did not last long. The next moment, Lucy's voice cracking the vehicle's driving system rang out, "Drive!" Buzz! Qin Hao didn't hesitate at all. Just step on the accelerator and hit the bottom. As a result, I didn't notice that I was in reverse gear. The car crashed into a telephone pole behind it. The trunk of the car was severely deformed in an instant, and at the same time, the two scavengers jumping on the trunk were thrown out for more than 10 meters. Lucy recovered from the impact and frowned. "I can see that you can only drive a little, no more." Hee hee, it's just an accident." Qin Hao smiled awkwardly, put the gear into gear, and turned the steering wheel. "Press the accelerator again." Buzz! The luxury car jumped out, flew onto the main road, and sped away. The noise behind me became indistinct. "My cousin's son stole my car. You are not allowed to leave, that must be your accomplice." Bang bang! With several gunshots. The growing sound of wind outside the car directly drowned out the noise behind him. "Damn it, I'm so annoying." Oris spat at the celebrity lying in front of him and immediately got on the motorcycle. "Keep chasing me." As the sound of a motorcycle engine faded away, all that was left beside the main road were celebrities lying in pools of blood. The one who was breathing out more and taking in less air murmured, "Please, please, please call me the trauma team for help. I am Chris Ming, tomorrow, the protagonist of the movie." Chapter 12. On the main road, Qin Hao drove the car on a rampage. It drives a little better than when playing the game Cyberpunk 2077. After all, I am really using my life to open the game at the moment. If I am dead, I cannot load files infinitely. But not much better. Even when Lucy, who was sitting in the passenger seat, saw this, she couldn't help but have an unnatural look on her face. Next moment, I consciously fastened my seat belt. If there is a next time, I'm afraid she won't let Qin Hao drive again. On the other hand, Qin Hao is driving. After adapting to the current situation, the whole person became more and more relaxed and calm. Especially after the tension is relieved. The surge of adrenaline in his body made him even more excited. Possible. This is why there are so many cyberpunk fringe people in Night City. For extreme challenges. Crazy temptation on the edge of life and death. That sense of accomplishment and conquest. It's really addictive. It's almost better than taking drugs. A thought crossed Qin Hao's mind at this moment. Boom boom. But at this moment, a powerful purple-red off-road vehicle suddenly jumped past Qin Hao's car. A muscular man with a machine gun prosthesis on his hand stood on the roof of the car with his upper body exposed. Qin Hao's pupils shrank. Could this be the helper invited by the scavengers? But the next moment, he noticed the white wild dog graffiti pattern on the off-road vehicle. That was the symbol of the Beast Gang. Obviously. The goal of these guys who advocate violence is not themselves. Drive faster, don't let those company dogs in front of you get away. The muscular man on the roof of the off-road vehicle shouted to the driver and pointed forward, "Get rid of those dogs before we get on the viaduct." "Hee, I will let them have a good meal today." Another muscular man sitting in the passenger seat of the off-road vehicle also laughed and directly raised a golden Gatling in his hand. "Let them know how powerful I am." The next moment, the off-road vehicle used enough strength to rush out ahead of the others. Humph, those guys from the Beast Gang can cause trouble every day in Night City and it's no big deal. Lucy, the co-pilot, couldn't help but complain, and said humbly, "Sooner or later, I will be taken away by the violent terrorist mobile team and even my lair." Then, she glanced at the rearview mirror and saw that there was no shadow of the motorcycle behind her. Only then did I relax. He took a cigarette from his jacket and lit it. Call. Blow out a smoke ring. He looked at Qin Hao with a smile on his face. We finally got rid of the scavenger bugs. Qin, it seems that your driving skills are pretty good. The words are full of tempting sin. Oh, not bad. Who knew? Qin Hao just responded perfunctorily. A pair of eyes stared closely at the off-road vehicle of the beast gang in front, seeming to be thinking about something. Why are you still staring at the beast and helping those guys? Lucy couldn't help but ask doubtfully when she saw this. While talking. While he couldn't help but hold his chin with one hand, his beautiful eyes kept looking at Qin Hao's firm and three-dimensional profile. Compared with those rude guys, you are much better. Good. Qin Hao answered perfunctorily again. It was obvious that he was in no mood to reply at the moment. Lucy pursed her lips, took a puff of cigarette and said, "TCH, you're such an incomprehensible guy." Qin Hao's attention was focused on the beast gang's car in front of him. His eyes glanced. Found the target of the beast gang guys ahead. It was a dark black reinforced luxury car not far from the traffic flow. Compared with the luxury of that luxury car, a shabby yellow private car driving next to the luxury car looked particularly shabby. Yellow, private car. The beast gang. Seeing this scene before me, information began to connect one by one in my mind. Next moment, Qin Hao's pupils suddenly shrank. So that's it. No wonder the beast gang's car seemed inexplicably familiar to him when he saw it just now. Emotional, that is the car that caused a car accident in Cyberpunk, Edgewalker, and accidentally killed David's mother. And now that little yellow car in front of me. Those sitting there should be David and his son who were returning home from school. In addition to the protagonist group in this comic, Cyber Friends, Edgewalkers. The supporting role that impressed Qin Hao the most and was the most tragic was none other than the mother of the male protagonist David, Gloria. In order for his son to become an outstanding talent in Night City in the future. And doing multiple jobs day and night. Even if I am a first responder myself, I am not willing to spend money to buy an insurance cover for myself. The single mother who poured all her income into her son's education. How great is this maternal love? But because of a car accident caused by a gang fight, this young single mother passed away. No matter how great maternal love is, they all seem so humble and insignificant in the Night City. Because of poverty, you don't have the right to receive medical treatment even if you are injured. It is precisely because of the death of my mother. Only then did the male protagonist David embark on a path of no return in Cyberpunk, Edgewalker. And this car accident? It will be staged again in front of Qin Hao. Is this God's joke? The characters in the anime all appear in my world in this way. Qin Hao couldn't help but uttered a broken sentence, his eyes gradually became piercing. The knife is not enough once, how about a second time? To be honest, Qin Hao is not a nosy guy, nor is he the kind of hero who yells when he sees injustice. But let him watch a great mother die in front of his eyes. He really can't do this. In the previous life of the anime, I couldn't change anything, I could only be severely punished by the screenwriter. But right now, maybe you can change the situation a little with your own abilities. For nothing else. Just to let go of the feeling in my heart and respect for that great mother. Seeing Qin Hao mumbling to himself, Lucy couldn't help but be stunned. "Qin, what are you talking about?" I said, "Hold on to the car door." Qin Hao's pupils shrank. Then came the sudden step on the accelerator. Buzz. With a strong push on the back, the car suddenly jumped out. Weaving back and forth in the traffic and rushing forward. From time to time, he would bump into other people's cars, causing the neighboring cars to yell at him and give him the middle finger. A simple folk custom of Night City came to my face. "Qin, are you crazy?" Lucy was so frightened that she turned pale and clutched the car door, cigarette butts, still smoking. Chapter 13. Qin Hao stepped on the accelerator and kept rushing forward. At the same time, those guys from the Beast Gang. He also mounted a machine gun and began to move quickly towards the reinforced luxury car of the company dog not far away. The little light yellow car driven by David's mother and son was gradually sandwiched between the two. Seems extremely downcast and insignificant. It's very similar to the relationship between the lower-class residents in Night City, caught between capitalists and violent gangs. No, we have to hurry up. Qin Hao's eyes darkened. His heart also became nervous. He knew that if he didn't do something, tragedy will definitely happen again. And it's right in front of you, more real than Chow Meng. Buzz. Qin Hao simply shifted into fifth gear and stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The car suddenly jumped forward again. Driving like this on a main road with a lot of traffic is definitely a life-threatening act. Qin, you don't want your life. Lucy's pupils shrank in shock. From holding the door handle with one hand just now, it has now become holding it with both hands. The impression Qin Hao gave her before was that he was gentle and elegant. Who knew he could become so violent when driving? Lucy was filled with doubts. Does this person have intermittent schizophrenia? On the passenger seat of the Beast Gang off-road vehicle, the naked man loaded the bullet and the golden Gatling pushed out the car window. Hey, damn corporate dog! I'll let you have a taste of my big gun today. Next moment, maybe it was a hail of bullets. Caught in the middle, the little yellow car driven by Gloria will be smashed into pieces. David sitting in the passenger seat of the little yellow car. His pupils were already shrinking in fear. Bang! Just between this electric light and flint, there was a violent crash. But it suddenly sounded from behind the Beast Gang's off-road vehicle. Then there was a strong impact. Just push the off-road vehicle forward a lot. Even the machine gun was originally set up on the passenger seat. Bang Dang was suddenly hit by the impact and hit the car window. Damn it! The member of the Beast Gang who was standing on the roof of the car was so frightened that he yelled and stumbled, "Who the hell can drive with such blind eyes and dare to hit my Beast Gang's car? They usually bump into people on the road, but sometimes they are rear-ended by others on the road." Without saying a word, the Beast Gang member on the roof raised his machine gun arm. There was a sudden tug at Qin Hao's car. Da-da-da! A burst of machine gun fire hit the car windows. Fortunately, the glass of this luxury car is bulletproof. Although the opponent's firepower is fierce, but it only made a few craters. Even if a few bullets almost penetrated the bulletproof glass, it was also blocked by Qin Hao's magnetic force. After all, it is buffered by bulletproof glass. The bullet speed has dropped by at least 80%. The members of the rooftop Beast Gang fired a bunch of bullets from their prosthetic arms in an instant. FK, it's still bulletproof glass. Seeing this, he couldn't help but yell fiercely and immediately started loading bullets. I want to see how bulletproof this broken glass is. Taking advantage of the opponent's opportunity to fill the bullet, Qin Hao quickly turned the steering wheel to one side. The luxury car, which was full of bullet holes, suddenly hit the rear of David's mother and son's car in front of them. Gloria was hit by someone while driving a car. The speed suddenly slowed down. At this moment, the Beast Gang members loaded their bullets and prepared to shoot Qin Hao's car again. But the luxury car driven by the company dog on the other side seemed to be aware of something. He accelerated all of a sudden and drove forward. Damn it, don't let that corporate dog get away. The big man wearing glasses in the passenger seat glanced at Qin Hao's car behind him and shouted to the person on the roof, Greeley, don't waste time with those wastes, business is important. Greeley, who was on the roof of the car, could only glare at Qin Hao and the two of them, and cursed, damn it, you brat, please remember this. After saying that, he called to the driver and rushed forward. Immediately afterwards, together with the golden Gatling on the passenger seat, they shot wildly at the company's luxury car speeding in front. The power of the Gatling is not comparable to that of ordinary machine guns. Many innocent vehicles were affected along the way, shot full of bullet holes. As for David's mother and son's car being forced to stop, they just escaped disaster. Beside the road, David's mother Gloria just got out of the car. The gun battle ahead caused a huge explosion. She was so frightened that she immediately covered her mouth and murmured for the rest of her life, God bless, if I had stopped a step later. Mom, it wasn't God who blessed us, it was them who asked us to stop. On the side, David pouted behind him with a bit of scorn. The visitors were Qin Hao and Lucy, who had just gotten off the car. You're not hurt, are you? Qin Hao asked as soon as he came up and said politely, I accidentally scratched your car just now, I'm sorry. Oh no. Sir. Gloria quickly shook her head and said gratefully, if it hadn't been for you just now, our mother and son might have been in a car accident. Bang. While talking, there was another explosion and smoke billowing from the front. Even if people are far away, Gloria was still frightened. Chapter 14. Qin Hao looked at the mother in front of him. The beautiful face is full of exhaustion. I haven't had time to change into the emergency team uniform I'm wearing. He must have still not rested after the night shift, so he was in a hurry to go to Arezaka school to deal with his son's matters today. She really loved David. Hey, whatever you said, it was all my fault. Qin Hao immediately shook his head apologetically and stepped forward to check the scratch marks. I will pay for the scratch. I'm really sorry. Leave your bank account to me and I will transfer the cost of repairing the car to you. It's really unnecessary, just now. Please make me compensate, otherwise I will feel guilty. Before Gloria could finish her words, Qin Hao interrupted again firmly. Gloria hesitated for a moment and glanced at the luxury car driven by Qin Hao. Right now she is in urgent need of money because of David's school, and Qin Hao's tough attitude towards compensation. She had to bite her lip. He told Qin Hao his account number. Qin Hao took out his smartphone and recorded the transfer. Okay, since I am transferring funds from a smartphone across banks, there may be a delay in arrival. Please check it later. After Qin Hao transferred the amount, he bowed politely and said, I'm really sorry about what happened just now. Lucy on the side did not speak, but silently watched Qin Hao's words and deeds in front of her. I don't know what she is thinking. It doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter. Gloria shook her head repeatedly and said guiltily, actually, we, mother and son, should really thank you for what happened today. Actually, you really don't need to compensate. At this time, David walked up with his hands in his pockets and said to Qin Hao, I saw it just now. If you hadn't hit those cyber-violent gangs with your car, my mother and I might have been shot. He could clearly see the scene where the beast gang was setting up their guns. Haha, it's my fault that I scratched your car. I should make up for it. Looking at the tugging David in front of him, Qin Hao chuckled. Then, he nuzzled at the Arezaka College emblem on David's chest. You go to Arezaka College, it should be quite expensive, right? As soon as these words came out, David's face was suddenly startled. There was silence for a moment. Looking at the mother and son who fell silent in front of me, Qin Hao immediately smiled, changed the subject and said, Madam, I can see that you love your son very much, right? Well. Gloria was startled and nodded subconsciously. Since you love him so much, you should take better care of your body. Qin Hao had a smile on his face and said softly, I see that you came to pick up the child without changing your work clothes. You can't be tired like this. You must know that the only person your son can rely on in Night City is you, my mother. Of course, you also have to believe in your son. He will definitely become a very good person, even if he doesn't have to go to a noble school like Arezaka Academy. Then, Qin Hao turned to David and said, David, your mother really loves you, you have to protect her. Then he patted David on the shoulder. I did not forget to whisper in my ear, don't hang out with the black-hearted prosthetic doctor you know, and watch Black Mutual less, it will save your mother a lot of worry. After saying that, Qin Hao didn't care about the confused looks of David and his son, and waved his hand, okay, see you later. Wave. He turned around and walked towards the luxury car full of bullet holes. From beginning to end, Lucy didn't say a word. David, who currently does not have a military prosthetic body, is just an ordinary person in her eyes. There is no encounter on the train in anime. There is definitely no bond between the two of them. On the other hand, Qin Hao has been extremely abnormal since he got off the car. It made Lucy very curious. The man from the Dragon Kingdom in front of me. She really can't see through it. David and his son stood there, stunned for a while, unable to recover. They don't understand why a stranger would say such nonsense to them. I don't understand why a stranger seems to know everything about their family. Too much incomprehension. But David's mother and son could clearly feel it. The young Asian man with dark hair should be kind to them. Why? When Qin Hao's car passed by, David came back to his senses and shouted at the top of his lungs, "What's your name?" Inside the car window, Qin Hao was sitting in the passenger seat and smiled lightly, "Qin." After saying that, he waved his hand. His car drove steadily and disappeared into the traffic. Ding dong! At this moment, a message prompt sounded in Gloria's head. Tip from Dekeng Bank, 10,000 euros were transferred to your electronic account at 11:20, with a balance of 14,300.6 euros. Thank you for using Dekeng Electronic Banking. What? Gloria was so shocked that her pupils shrank suddenly and she opened her mouth slightly. Why, how do you transfer such a large amount of money? What's wrong, Mom? Seeing his mother's expression changed, David couldn't help but ask. David, the gentleman named Qin just transferred 10,000 euros to us. Crowley said in disbelief until this moment. To know. She works day and night every day and looks for opportunities to resell prosthetic bodies, and her income is only a few thousand euros a month. And even if you can resell the prosthetic body that month, the little old car they were traveling in was priced at around 1,000 euros. Whose repair fee is 10 times more expensive than the entire car. Oh my God, Qin, could he really be sent by God to save us? Gloria's eyes were filled with excitement, and there were already tears in her eyes. David, do you think this is possible? In Night City, is there really a God? David looked at the direction Qin Hao left and couldn't help but whispered, Qin. While talking, his hands had unconsciously clenched the cross pendant on his chest. Ding ding. In the vehicle. The prompt on Qin Hao's mobile phone sounded, Arazaka Bank prompt, 10,000 euros were debited from your electronic account at 11:20, with a handling fee of 50 euros, and a balance of 44,960.2 euros. Thank you for using this electronic bank. It's really shameful to charge such a high fee for transferring money. Qin Hao glanced at the phone and threw it aside, unable to help but complain. You transferred 10,000 euros to the mother and son just now. Lucy, who was driving, frowned and couldn't help but ask, isn't it a bit too much? It's not much. If you scratch someone's car, you should pay for the repairs. Qin Hao looked at the traffic outside the window and responded casually. You are a strange person. Lucy pursed her lips and asked, are all people in the Dragon Kingdom like this? No. Qin Hao shook his head. After thinking for a while, he added, but maybe. After all, he doesn't know either. Others who have watched the anime Cyberpunk, Edgewalker. What would you do if you encountered the situation just now? What a strange man. Lucy shrugged and complained, you clearly said you were short of money, but you still gave so much money to others. Hey, you don't understand, man's romance. Okay, okay, where are you going now? Take me home. Why don't you go to my house and have a drink? Today is inconvenient, next time. Qin Hao rejected Lucy's invitation. Because he still has business to do when he gets back. With just his initial control over the magnetic fruit, the cyberpunk world is still too dangerous for him. The Frog Cub's second journey can't wait. Can you find this place in Watson District? While talking, Qin Hao did not forget to take out the map navigation. If you can't find it, can I drive? Need not. Are you afraid that I'm too tired? Not really. Chapter 15. Finally. With Lucy's help, Qin Hao returned to his slum residence in Watson District. Garbage piled everywhere. Beggars and homeless people lying on the roadside, and stinking alleys. Everywhere is in sharp contrast to the prosperity of Little Chinatown. The picture seems to be out of frame. All of a sudden it faded from color to black and white. Qin, are you sure you don't want to sit with me? Looking at the surrounding environment through the car window, Lucy couldn't help but frown and asked again. Have to say. The surrounding environment is indeed a bit bad. Haha, I'm really not free today. Qin Hao smiled lightly, shook his head, and added, definitely next time. In the night city, there are plenty of opportunities to fall in love and have S*X every night. But after everything I went through today, Qin Hao realized more clearly that he really only has one life. Even if it is an invitation from the goddess Lucy, it must also be refused. You have to be sober as a human being. Right now, the most important thing for Qin Hao is to become stronger and make money. I am stronger. Then everything will be easy to say. If you don't even have control over your own life, that kind of love is bullshit. Not only do you delay yourself, it also wastes other people's time. I have been poor all my life and have a breeze. How dare you mistake a beautiful woman? So, Qin Hao must resist the temptation. Lucy looked at the resolute young man in front of her. I couldn't help but lean my chin against the window and look at him quietly, with a smile on my face, giggle, I really can't see through you. Qin Hao shrugged and said with a slight smile, I will let you see through it when I have the opportunity in the future. Hug. As she spoke, Lucy stretched her slender arms out of the car window, tell me you're a puppy. The green onion-like little finger is slightly raised. It looks so white against the dirty surroundings. Have to say, this little girl Lucy is really good at flirting. There's really nothing I can do against you. Qin Hao shook his head helplessly. Stretch out your arms and raise your little finger. Hug. Through the car window. Their fingers were hooked together like that. Hey, that's right. At this moment, Lucy seemed to remember something. Qin, I will remember your phone number, and I will contact you when there is work. Qin Hao used ultra-short distance electromagnetic waves to communicate with her on the train. The incoming call was just a garbled code. I couldn't contact anyone when I called back. Qin Hao nodded and immediately dictated the phone number to Lucy. After Lucy dialed and confirmed that it was correct. At the end, I did not forget to say, cyber psychopaths appear from time to time near these slums. Please be careful and contact me if anything happens. After saying that, then he started the car and drove towards the distance. Looking at Lucy's leaving figure, Qin Hao couldn't help but take a deep breath, this girl is indeed a good girl. Just read it. He turned around and walked towards the rental house. Go home and lock the door. Come to bed and lie down. The system interface of traveling frog came out in his mind. A whole morning passed. The frog cub is still engrossed in the book. I don't know what it is looking at, but it looks so sweet. Without wasting any time, Qin Hao directly opened Frog's backpack and prepared the items for Frog to go out. That was what he had prepared before. The cheapest lunch box, and a 4-leaf clover amulet given by the system, it is said to increase the luck value. After the arrangements are made, Qin Hao immediately paid the cost of the second trip, 40,000 euros. With successful payment, the system prompt also appears. 1. The travel expenses are paid successfully, and the frog cub is going on a trip. 2. The system mall has updated new items, please check the host. Qin Hao was stunned. Is there any item update in the mall? Without saying a word, he immediately checked the system toolbar. Click to open the store in the system. There are all kinds of things in it. They are all the lunch boxes, amulets, props, etc. that the frog cubs need when traveling. Prepare these things for the frog cub before it travels. It will have an impact on the travel locations, the specialties brought back by the frog cubs, souvenirs, etc. Basically it follows the principle that the more expensive, the better. The unified currency for purchasing things in the mall is still the exclusive clover in the game. You can get it for free for a certain period of time every day. But the quantity is limited. It is precisely because of this that every time Qin Hao has to choose cheap things to buy. To prevent Clover's deposit from being cleared, Frog Cub will not have anything ready to go out next time. As Qin Hao went back and browsed the store items, he found that in addition to the basic items in the game such as lunchbox and amulet, sure enough, there are a lot more special things. For example, trauma medicine, hemostatic coagulant, life mixture, and other healing products. Armored body, violent power, etc. attack attributes. Of course, none of these things are cheap. The lowest price of trauma medicine is also Clover X100. Qin Hao's current Clover deposit is only X80. What's the use of these things? Qin Hao touched his chin and said to himself, is this a cyber-style product launched to cope with the cyberpunk world? He couldn't understand it for a while. Just ignore it for now. If you really need it then, just buy it based on the situation. Certainly. The premise is that Clover has enough balance. Ding! Another system information update. Frog Cub's next trip cost 200,000 euros. Qin Hao's eyes twitched in fright. 200,000 euros, add tens of thousands more, it's enough to travel to the moon. But for the rules of the system, Qin Hao has no choice. In addition to praying that the frog cubs can bring back good things from this trip. That's all about finding ways to make more money. Chapter 16. After a short rest, Qin Hao ate something nearby and hurried back to the rental house. He needs to learn about the applications of magnetism. Even from the most basic. Start studying systematically what magnetism is. If he wants to truly master his magnetic fruit ability, that is absolutely inseparable from systematic study of magnetism. Even if I have learned it before, it is also necessary to go through the system again now. Lying quietly on the bed, holding the smartphone in hand, he started to search Wikipedia for information about magnetism. A small rental room. It seemed to be his own study room. This place used to be filled with suffocating despair. Now. But there is hope everywhere. That's all. I read information about magnetism for about 3 or 4 hours. Qin Hao really felt his head was bloated, so he could take a rest. Have to say, reading the information is indeed a hard work that combines physical and mental strength. But tired. There are also gains. After gaining a systematic understanding of the origin of magnetism, he became more and more certain that the upper limit of his magnetic fruit's ability was infinitely high. But accordingly, the lower limit of this fruit is also very low. Basically, the lower limit is the king of tatters, and the upper limit is a creator-like existence. Thinking of this, Qin Hao couldn't help but think back to Eustace Kid, the magnetic fruit power user in One Piece. When that guy was in the Chambord Islands, he can only fight with simple magnetic properties. It wasn't until he entered the new world and lost his left hand that he used the fruit power awakening to use advanced moves such as the electromagnetic cannon and the electromagnetic demon. Could it be that this guy also suffers from being uneducated? An inexplicable thought couldn't help but emerge in Qin Hao's mind. After someone cut off his hand in the new world, he had no choice but to secretly gain knowledge about magnetism. It sounds a bit absurd at first. But upon closer inspection, it's really possible. After all, if you want to upgrade the magnetic fruit from simple S and N polar magnetism to electromagnetism, then impart electromagnetism to objects other than itself. Form corresponding various forms of power. These. But in addition to practicing diligently and becoming proficient, you must also understand the basic magnetism, magnetic field, electromagnetism, and other corresponding relationships and operation methods. Otherwise, those with the magnetic fruit ability, space energy can induce its own magnetic field. But I don't know how to correctly guide and control the operation of the magnetic field. Then the power of this fruit. At most, it's more convenient to just pick up scraps of scrap metal. At least you don't have to bend down to pick it up. Before. The reason why Qin Hao can affect electromagnetic wave communication within a very short distance is. This is thanks to my previous knowledge about the generation and operation of electromagnetic waves. If Qin Hao wants to use the higher level abilities of the magnetic fruit, then you must continue to use your skills proficiently, plus supplement the physical knowledge about the operation of magnetism. In this regard, Qin Hao couldn't help but complain, this magnetic fruit must be called high-level physics fruit, which is more appropriate. Technology is so advanced now. Or, do you really want to take the time to get a degree in physics? Certainly. These are all things for later. Right now, the most important thing for Qin Hao is to combine the knowledge he has learned about magnetism to train his fruit abilities. Just do it. Focus. Qin Hao slowly began to try to mobilize the speed and method of the charge of his own magnetic field. There are two ways for magnetism to generate electricity, induced and dynamic. You only need to use part of your body as a conductor, and move to cut the magnetic field lines in the self-created magnetic field, and form a closed circuit. As Qin Hao remembered information about magnetism and electricity one by one, the magnetic field around him gradually changed. Zzzz. Zzzz. In no time, Qin Hao's body started to have small electric sparks one after another. In a dark room, it was like there were many fireflies dormant all over him. It flew to my forehead. It flew to my chest again. It looks very nice. If the operation of the magnetic field can be divided into specific parts, then the designated parts can generate electricity. Qin Hao's eyes suddenly opened and his palms slowly raised. Between his fingers, there were actually many small electric sparks visible to the naked eye. Just like the fireflies that were all over his body. All of a sudden they all flew into the palm of Qin Hao's hand, like holding a galaxy in his hand. If the speed of the local magnetic field is increased. Click. Kaka. The small electric sparkle that was still sizzling instantly expanded and turned directly into finger-thick electric currents. Purple-white electric light flashes. Taking care of Qin Hao's face. Like gods and demons who control thunder and lightning. Success. Qin Hao couldn't help shouting with excitement on his face. Develop new skills, magnetism generates electricity. But before he could be happy for long, an extremely strong feeling of fatigue suddenly hit his whole body. The current in Qin Hao's hand disappeared immediately. Everything falls into darkness. This energy conservation thing is really F-ed sometimes. After Qin Hao complained, there was a strong feeling of hunger in my stomach. Giluelu, Giluelu. There is no way. I had to open the vending machine at the door again. Eat a lot to replenish your energy. After a short rest, Qin Hao finally recovered from the feeling of fatigue. Hey, I have to find a way to increase the body's energy storage. Only your original body is stronger. The body has more storage capacity. The power of energy conversion becomes stronger. According to his estimation, the electric energy you just generated, at least it can shock 5 or 6 big men instantly. So, encountering ordinary enemies, he is fully capable of protecting himself. But this is naturally not enough for Qin Hao. Think about it a little bit. Qin Hao found that in addition to skillfully controlling the magnetic fruits and making more money, there is one more task. Exercise. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. It turns out that the training methods Saitama-sensei mentioned are really necessary. Chapter 17. After Qin Hao calmed down, I took some time to sort out the magnetic fruit abilities that I can currently use. 1. Use simple S and N 2-level magnetic forces to give other metals mutual repulsion or attraction. 2. Short-range control of electromagnetic waves, limited distance. 3. Control the movement of electric charges on the playground itself to generate electrical energy and related induction forces. And the above abilities will be enhanced as Qin Hao's native physique increases and his application proficiency increases. Accumulation produces qualitative changes and reaches the awakening of fruitful abilities. The upper limit of awakening is unknown. After sorting out the corresponding strengths of magnetic fruit, Qin Hao didn't waste any time either. Use magnets to start exercising. Get something nearby. Let's start with the small objects in the room. Use magnetism to remotely control a small refrigerator in a rental house for lifting. 1, 2, 3, 100. After completing 100 lifts, I was already sweating profusely. After all, small refrigerators are not light either. At least about 40 kilograms. Corresponding. It also consumes a lot of physical energy. Take a break. Eat something. Continue the cycle. I practiced like this for an hour continuously. Qin Hao can feel that his control over metal has become visibly more proficient. After training, I had another big meal. Qin Hao lay back on the bed contentedly. Now he needs a little rest. I have to go to the afterlife bar early tonight to work. After adjusting the time, Qin Hao fell asleep. The words are divided into 2 parts. After Lucy drove away from Watson District, we arrived near Little Chinatown. Abandoned the car. I came to a park bench and sat down, as if waiting for someone. After a while, a girl with short ear-length hair jumped over. A pair of round eyes, coupled with the symmetrical grooves of the implants on both sides of the cheek, resemble a cute kitten. Her bangs were flying as she jumped, and she wore a leather jacket with a pink mane color. All of them reveal her youthful and girlish nature. Sister Lucy. The girl came behind Lucy and shouted with a sweet smile. Lucy was startled. After seeing the person clearly, he asked, "Why are you here? Where is Sister Kiwei?" "Hee, Sister Kiwei and Brother Man have work to do, so they asked me to come see you." The girl smiled and sat back to back on the bench on the other side of Lucy. "Sister Lucy, how many chips are going to be sold this time?" "Here." Lucy didn't waste any time and took out all the chips from her pocket. "They have been sorted, they are all Arazaka Company chips, many of them are platinum level." Lucy briefly explained the chip categories. The girl looked at the large package of chips in front of her, and her face suddenly showed a look of shock. "Oh my god, there are at least twice as many chips as usual this time, right? Sister Lucy, are you short of money recently?" Lucy lit up a cigarette, took a puff and smiled, giggle, "Yet, when will you not be short of money? I read the news yesterday and said that the tickets for traveling to the moon have increased again, and now they cost 700,000 euros. Sister Lucy, you can't make a lot of money by just reselling chips like this." The girl was counting the chips and said, "How about it? Are you really not considering joining us? Brother Man and everyone else really hope you can come. Especially Sister Kiwei, she often says that your hacking skills are much better than hers and mine. Call. Lucy blew out a smoke ring and looked up at the sky. Haha, thank you for your kindness, Sasha, I'll think about it again. After all, a team doesn't need 3 hackers, right? Besides, I recently met a new partner, and my work efficiency has improved a lot. Well, that's okay. Sasha pouted and nodded. Anyway, if you think clearly, you can come to us at Lei's Hung Bar at any time. Brother Man and the others will drink there when nothing happens. Then, her big cat-like eyes flashed red. Okay, I'll transfer the cost of the chip to you this time. After all. Sasha jumped to her feet. He turned to Lucy and smiled sweetly. Giggle, Sister Lucy, will you introduce your new partner to me next time? I'm really curious about what kind of person it is that makes you willing to cooperate with him. Giggle, your girl, his name is Qin, he is from the Dragon Kingdom. Lucy smiled helplessly and shook her head. I'll introduce you to me again when I have the chance. Okay, I'll wait. Sasha made an okay gesture, smiled and waved to Lucy. Well, Sister Lucy, goodbye. Lucy smiled and nodded. Goodbye. Looking at Sasha's leaving figure, Lucy took a puff of cigarette and looked up at the sky. 700,000 euros, it's really not a small amount of money. It's evening now. In the sky, not far from the sun, a bright arc can be vaguely seen. That's the direction of the moon. Diddy. Beep beep beep. An alarm clock rang in the rental house on time. Qin Hao woke up from his sleep. It's already 7 o'clock in the evening. Well. As soon as he stretched, his bones all over his body crackled. Qin Hao suddenly felt refreshed. It's so comfortable. He exerted a little force on his limbs. You can clearly feel the increase in the power of your own magnetic field. This is completely different from before exercising. Just like after lifting iron. Muscle congestion is the same. You can feel the changes in your body just by raising your hands and feet. Haha, I didn't expect that training would have such a great effect on improving the ability of the magnetic fruit. Qin Hao couldn't help but reveal a satisfied smile on his face. He is confident. If you encounter an enemy with a gun and shoot at you again, as long as the firepower of the firearm is not too strong, you can even control the bullet to stop it. This. Or is it what he gained after just 1 day of training? If this continues, life in Night City will become more and more promising. Qin Hao was in a good mood and looked at the time. It's almost time. It's time to go out. Get up. Start washing. Chapter 18. Night falls. Real life in Night City has just begun. Even in slums that are lifeless during the day, it seems that life has returned to life under this dark curtain. All kinds of neon street lights and advertising signs are constantly lighting up. It exaggerates the feasting of the entire Night City. Qin Hao finished washing. Put on your jacket and go out. He is now going to the train station to take the train. It's still the same old road during the day. When passing the alley full of garbage, the drunkards and homeless people lying on the roadside have disappeared, and no one knows where they are going to buy drunken music again. The whole alley looks dark and long. Only mice crawled through the garbage in the alley from time to time. It seems to be a silent announcement that this is the lowest slum area in Watson district. Have to say, the environment around here is really bad. Qin Hao frowned and shook his head. It seems that after looking for opportunities to make more money, it would be better to move away from this place. Hey, boy. At this moment, a ruthless shout rang out from deep in the alley. It's you, the guy in the black coat. Qin Hao was startled when he heard this. He turned his head coldly and walked away. I saw 2 guys with mohawk hair and cheap prosthetics. He was walking towards him carelessly. Hey, brat, lend me some money to spend with my brother. I still barely have enough money to buy Mangekyō today. If you want to leave here safely, you should quickly take out the money you have. The two of them were talking, while popping out two short spring blades from his hand. Spin and play with it in your hands. The blade reflects the neon lights outside the alleyway. It looks cold and chilly. There is no shortage of streetwalkers anywhere, especially in Night City. When walking at night, someone might pop out of an alley to blackmail you. In the past, Qin Hao may be afraid, but right now, he has no time to waste with this kind of street kid. Don't block the road, I'm in a hurry. After saying this coldly, Qin Hao turned around and continued moving forward. FK, you damn guy, you can't understand people, can you? The two Mohawk street guys behind him were instantly angry and howled at the top of their lungs. I told you to stop. Damn it, if I don't show you some color, you damn brat, you don't know this is called Night City. Almost at the same time, two street runners rushed up with long strides, holding two short spring blades. He stabbed Qin Hao in the back. Not much action. Qin Hao turned around, and the two light spring blades instantly paused in the air. No matter how hard the two street runners tried, they couldn't move even half an inch. Damn, what the hell is going on? Witchcraft, this FGBD knows witchcraft. Noisy. Qin Hao's face turned cold without giving the other party much chance to spit out the fragrance. Zzz. A burst of lightning flashed in the alley, and the alley became silent for a moment. Bang! Bang! Immediately afterwards, the bodies of the two street runners suddenly lay down. Just look a little closer. You can find that the two of them have already fainted with foaming at the mouth. One of them even had his crotch soaked through. I was so shocked that I peed my pants. For such details, Qin Hao was not in the mood to take a closer look at this moment. He put his coat over his head and hurried towards the station. Damn it, it's delaying my work time. I have to move out of this poor place as soon as I can earn money. After a few train stops, finally arrived at the destination. Little Chinatown, Afterlife Bar. This exclusive bar is located in the Watson district. Basically the symbol of Night City. Almost the entire Night City mercenary network will discuss business here. The most important reason? That's because here comes the bar owner Rog. A cyberpunk icon, the last legend of Night City. Rog is currently the most powerful female middleman in the entire Night City. Almost any big business deal requires her nod. So this afterlife bar run by Roger. It has almost become the most famous information station in Night City. There is no class here. No constraints. Whether the mercenary is meeting a contact for a date, a deal, or just a nice drink, all comers are welcome at the Afterlife Bar. Here, it is a place of release for edge walkers of all stages.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।